it was originally 133,770, something like that, and now I can get the same item for $0.01 or 1 cent. So if I click on place order, it will be placed. See this, the original price was 1337, but now I am able to place the order at $0.01. As you can see on your screens, OWASP is nothing but, it stands for Open Web Application Security Project. What does it mean? It simply is something that is working, or some organization that is working towards making the lives of the users across the globe easier or safer. They are basically a non-profit organization or foundation dedicated to improving the software security. It is an open community model which follows people across the globe can come together, work together, and try to give some inputs so that the world where number of users are using the online interfaces, online activities, any online activities could be made safer. So it is nothing but an organization which is working towards making the life safer for the users, in simple words. Now, as I had mentioned already, they from time to time create something called as OWASP Top 10. Now OWASP Top 10 is nothing but a list of vulnerabilities which are currently very dangerous and which can cause a lot of damage to the users and their data which is present online. So on your screens you can see OWASP 2017 and OWASP 2021. These are nothing but the top 10 vulnerabilities in those years respectively. So on the left hand side, the one at the very top is nothing but the number 1 vulnerability which was found that particular year. And then at the end, number 10. So the vulnerability which is at the top is, we can say, the most dangerous vulnerability. It used to be the most dangerous vulnerability at that particular time. So if we talk about 2017, injection attacks were the most prevalent or the most common type of attacks which used to happen on computer systems. Command line injection, SQL injection, cross-site scripting and something like that. Injection is nothing but adding some scripts, writing some scripts in the text boxes so that those scripts can be run at the server end. So that is nothing but what we call as an injection attack. If you see, there are multiple such attacks over here: injection attacks, broken authentication attacks, sensitive data exposure, XML and external entities, broken access control, and what not. So out of these, today in our session we are going to learn about what is SQL injection attack, what is cross-site scripting attack, cross-site request forgery, command injection, and some more attacks if time permits. Right? So on the right hand side now, you can see that many of those vulnerabilities have either been merged together or they have changed places, swapped places. As you can see, injection and cross-site scripting are combined together and they are now at the 3rd place as compared to the 1st place in 2017. In those 4 years from 2017 to 2021, now the websites have, most of the websites have identified keys this vulnerability is present on their web servers. So they have tried to patch it up and they have tried some sort of input sanitization so that the input can be cleaned before it is sent to the server. Right? So it has dropped to place number 3, but still 3rd position is also equally dangerous. It is still very common, still very prevalent, and attacks do happen even nowadays. Similarly, we have something called as broken access control. Next comes in cryptographic failures. Cryptographic failures are something which might happen if you are not using proper public and private key pairs. So cryptographic failures generally happen if you are not using proper keys or proper algorithms for signing your data, in simple terms. Then comes insecure design. It is something new which is added in 2021 ka OWASP Top 10. Insecure design is nothing but you are creating a software system and you are not attentive enough towards making your software as secure as possible. So there might be some bugs, there might be some loopholes present in your system which might lead to a backdoor entry to the attacker. We have already seen how to gain access to the system. Then comes security misconfiguration. You are not allowing proper security arrangements to be done. As you can see, security misconfiguration and XXE, they are clubbed together to become this particular new top 10 vulnerability. Then something called as vulnerability and outdated components. So you have to make sure that you unknowingly or knowingly you are not using something which is already having some vulnerabilities. Obviously it is a no, you should not use it. So if you are a software developer and you know that this particular plugin might have a vulnerability and you are still using it, then you are doing a crime. You should not use a vulnerable plugin or component in your application. You should refrain from it. Then comes something called as identification and authentication failures. You are using some authentication which is very outdated. For example, you are using simple user ID and password. You are storing the user ID and password in plain text in the server. So that is a total no. You should not use something which is having authentication failures. Then comes software and data integrity failures. Data integrity is something where you make sure that whatever data you are dealing with, they should not be tampered. There is something called as hashing. Hashing is something which creates a smaller fragment of your original data. So basically hashing is nothing but a fixed sized block of data which corresponds to your actual data. For example, if your original plain text is of 10,000 lines of code, you can simply get a hash value of only 160 bits. I'm talking about SHA-1, SHA-256 and so on. Multiple algorithms are there. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that the data which we are dealing with should be integral. So that is what we call as integrity. So we have to make sure that all the applications that we are using should be having proper integrity mechanisms in place. So I hope you are now in a position to understand all those top 10 attacks currently being listed by OWASP top 10. We are not going to do everything out of it, but we'll focus on injection and something called as cross-site scripting.